Welcome to Verbal Peak Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. I'd like to welcome you all to the show. A million black men. Imagine a million black men like what we had at the Million Man March, the first Million Man March, over a million. And then that million had children who was raised off the knowledge that they gathered from the first Million Man March. And then those children had children. So you got father, son, grandson, all with a conscious mind, right? Now, when you have a conscious mind and you have knowledge, it separates you from those who are not studying or not reading, or those that do not have a certain extent of knowledge, right? And it will cause a natural separation because you act off the knowledge that you know. So if you got people who study a higher knowledge and they act on a higher knowledge, by law, it separates those who don't have the knowledge to even act upon, right? So when that happens, it causes a rift in society because the enemy, the colonizer, Satan's devils, or whatever term you choose to call them, they're used to handling black men a certain way, right? But they always want to isolate black men from organizations such as the Nation of Islam or the Moor Science Temple, or just the Moor, i.e. the Moors, Pan-Africanists. They want to demonize these organizations and push them to the side, and they want to keep in contact with the black population who was taught Christianity by their forefathers, because within that teaching of Christianity, underneath that was a behavior lesson or a discipline lesson on how to behave in regards to the colonizer, and they passed that mindset on from generation to generation. But the colonizer recognizes those blacks who don't move the way of the blacks that they're used to dealing with. You know, they recognize the blacks that challenge them when something is wrong, or the blacks who understand their nationality, their origin, or who they are. And they don't like dealing with those kind. But what they'll do is try to play the divide and conquer role. So they'll tell the blacks who was taught Christianity by their forefathers to stay away from these type of black people, because these type of black people are dangerous and they'll get you in trouble. And it's a code amongst some black people to where when you talk about certain subjects, they shut down because they don't want any problems, because they still have that fear that was put into them when they was babies by the colonizer, i.e. the slave master, right? But then the colonizer, slave master, started noticing, wait a minute, you know, at one point in time, I would randomly run across these black conscious-minded thinking people, i.e. black Muslims, black Moors, every so often, and we would interlock in an intellectual struggle, and that was it. And they go their separate ways, and the colonizers would go their way. But now he's saying, wait a minute, I'm starting to run into a lot of these same-minded individuals. Something is going on. So they'll gather up their scientists, their mathematicians, they'll gather up their magicians, their secret order, secret society organizations, and they'll sit down at the round table and they'll discuss this issue. And they're like, okay, what do we do with this influx of rebellious black men who are not following suit with what our forefathers taught their forefathers in slavery? They're trying to regain their true identity. What can we do to stop this, right? So the colonizers say, well, let's try to see if we can flood drugs into their organizations and we can stop it there. And someone says, well, they're not heavy in the drug world. That wouldn't work. And they say, well, can we send a informant in amongst them, and maybe once that informant gets on the inside of these organizations, they can change the scope and the ideology of these organizations. And they said, well, we tried that, and every time they found a informant or a spy, they killed them to let other black spies know that don't come around here with that ideology, and also to let the slave master colonizer know, don't send your token Negroes to us. We'll send them back in a body bag, right? And they're like, okay, we tried that. So what can we do? Can we offer them money to find out any secrets, or to let us know the secrets or what's going on within these organizations, and we offer them a certain amount of money or a wealthy sum, and maybe that'll get them to turn on the influential leaders of these movements? And it's like, well, they're self-independent. They have their own businesses. We've tried that before in the past, and to no avail. We didn't have any success. And they're still to this day trying to find a crack, just trying to find a way, trying to find some kind of way to stop the forward progression of a progressive mind who says that I am who I am, I love who I am, I respect who I am, and I love the degree of melanin that the Creator have given me. And they're trying to spread that knowledge to the other slave-minded black people who were taught a system of destruction by the slave master. When I say a system of destruction, I mean it's destructive behavior for you not to look in the mirror and not love what you're looking at. It's a destructive behavior to read everything about somebody else's history but know nothing about you, yourself, or your history. It's a destructive behavior to not pick up books and read and not encourage others to read, right? It's a destructive behavior to not know why you believe in what you believe in, other than it was just passed down to you from your grandparents, because it was passed down to them from their parents, and it was given to them by their slave master. So somebody has to stop the cycle. And then they wonder, well, why we got so many churches and liquor stores, and why after all these years nothing has changed within the community? Think about it. And so now with that million men and the knowledge that they pass to their sons and the knowledge that they pass to the grandsons are all functioning at one time and it's causing a rift in the colonizer society. So the colonizer is getting dangerous because he's saying, look, in 20 years, the black and the brown in America will be the major or the majority population. As time moves forward, there'll be less and less of white supremacy, colonizer, actually the Caucasian. I don't want to say the Caucasian race. Actually, the race that they term or deem as the white race, right, will become less and less. So they're saying, okay, we got to deal wisely with this situation. We have to inject our mindset into black and brown, because if we can eject our mindset into black and brown, then someone will try to recreate Yaqub's work in the future and find a way to strengthen our population. Right. So what we have to do is make someone black or brown feel as though they would be a hero in studying Yaqub's work for the sake of strengthening the colonizers or the white supremacist population again. That he would be written of in history, or she, and that they will be the hero. We have to create that narrative and set them on a mission. And the question is, how do they do that? In them, they have to create movies to show where the black man is the hero and he saves white people. And he gets a pat on the back and he feels good. You know, he risked his life and limb, and and he saved this white family. And the parade that they give him and the gifts, and they held him up to the sun, and he's just so proud of what he's done, but not knowing that he's being played. But you got to create the scenario. You got to make it look good. You got to have the sunshine and the clouds and rainbow coming over it and flowers blooming and everybody's laughing and having a good time because this black man just saved this white family, and and all is well. That's one tactic they can use, but we don't know, but at looking at these protests and right now and COVID-19 and the fights that's going on between the Trump supporters and the Black Lives Matter, you have to sit back and analyze and not let your emotions and your feelings lead you. You have to lead on what makes sense. Every move has to be calculated. You have to sit back and say, wow, why? And these are just the questions that has to be answered. Why, when the right-wing protesters, when they protest, why aren't the police spraying them with tear gas and shooting rubber bullets at them? But when the Black Lives Matter protests, they're shooting tear gas and rubber bullets. Why did the president come out, and I'm talking about Donald Trump, come out and defend the right-wing protesters and denounce the Black Lives Matter protesters by calling them thugs and hoodlums? What is going on? What is it? As the president saying, look, I'm not, okay, but how it was with Barack Obama, and they were saying, well, Barack Obama is not the president of just black people. He's the president of all America. Now, is Trump the opposite, and he's not the president of all America. He's just the president of a certain type of thinking white people. And that's as far as he goes. All of these questions have to be answered because you have to put everything in its context in order to look at this up-and-coming presidential election. What is going on? Is Biden and Kamala are therefore uplifting the black race, or are their agenda is to suppress the black race, hoping it will uplift the white race in order for it to increase its population? Right? Or are they realizing that they can't stop the growth of the black and brown, so it's time to work with black and brown and put black and brown in a position of leadership that will be just for all of quote-unquote American citizens? Is this a new era coming in? And so there's a new mindset that has to come along with this new era. Meaning now you have black consumers that's spending, and if these white companies want to survive, then racism has to end in order to welcome in these new customers to purchase these products, because now they're understanding that black and brown are aware, and if you treat them with any disrespect, they'll just simply pull their resources and their money away from you and just let your business fall. Then white racists have to ask themselves a question: is being racist more important than your survival? Meaning, would you fall on your sword? Would you just rather die than give another black or brown person to treat them as your equal, to see them as your equal? Are you saying, like, I would never see black and brown, and this is coming out the mindset of a racist, I would never see black and brown as my equal, and I would die on that belief, and the whole white race, we'd rather die out before we see you all as our equals and treat you like brothers and sisters. We'll just rather die out as a race. I mean, is it getting to that point? And if it is, it's sad, but it is what it is. Is the hatred for black and brown so embedded in the fabric of America that they could never see giving black and brown justice? Because if they give black and brown justice, that states that we're all equal. Do the police brutalities on black men and women in their hearts has to continue to try to cull the population of the black men and the brown men, since black men and brown men are having children with white women? And they saying we'll take you all out one by one to save that white womb so she don't have to give birth to any more mixed babies. I mean, there's so much that's going on, and there's so many unanswered questions that even though the question is unanswered, it still doesn't mean that the answer won't reveal itself in time, because everything reveals itself. It's just a matter of positioning your mind in order to deal with these realities that's going to come forth regardless, so you don't stress out and die of shock when you see it. You will understand, okay, well, here, it was going to happen anyway, because we had 400 years of racism in this country, and certain mindsets still haven't changed. So I can understand why a person would do what they're doing. You know how you would hear a young black man being killed, and they parents saying, well, why would this white cop do that? What did my son do to you? You know, what would make you do such a horrible act, a horrific act? What's going on? And the answer is your son didn't do anything. It's just the fact that this racist cop is doing what his father did, and his father and his grandfather and his father before that. Each generation asks those questions. But now it's getting to a point to where people are starting to become more intelligent than what the situation permits. You see what I'm saying? Meaning that people are so intelligent now to where the excuse of he don't know what he was doing, or there's just some bad apples in the police department, or it meaning those excuses doesn't fly anymore, because the science and the mathematics and the statistics states otherwise. So you can throw smoke out there, but after the smoke blows away, that harsh reality is still there to stay. Verbal Peak Radio. We out. Till next time, make sure y'all check Atone Pro.com. That's Brother Marcus Mudd on this upcoming mask fashion show that's taking place this month. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you tell your friends to like and subscribe on Verbal Peak Radio on YouTube. I thank you all. Sanara Smith, thank you. Rock Consciousness, Low Key, Brother Jamal, Brother Gino, High Frequency, Free Jennifer Jeffley. Free Jennifer Jeffley. Free Jennifer Jeffley. Look up her case, sign a petition, and see what you can do. All lawyers that's out there, we need your help on the Jennifer Jeffley case. That's JENNIFER JEFFLEY. We need your help on this case to free this young sister. This sister been locked up since 1996. She went in at 15 years old. She was railroaded for a murder that she didn't commit, and they railroaded her. You got to look at her appeals case, and when she filed for the appeal, and the reason why they didn't suppress certain evidence. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is a classic cover-up. Her story was on Crime Watch. We need Kim Kardashian. We need the President Donald Trump. We need so many people to get involved in her case and free this young lady so she can live out her life in peace. Verbal Peak Radio, we're out.